The most famous orphan in Islamic culture is without a doubt the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He famously fostered Zayd and encouraged the practice of looking after children with no parents. Why then is it that fostering is something that is so uncommon within the Muslim community? We'll look into this issue and more only on today's Women's AM. Bismillah, assalamu alaikum, my dear sisters, and welcome to Women's AM. It's the show that brings you discussion, news and more. We've got another packed show for you today with a really important topic that's sure to get you all involved. I'm Liz, and joining me in the discussions today we have our Women's AM regulars, Sisters Hassana and Ayan. Assalamu alaikum, sisters.
Alaikum salam.
And also joining us we have a very special guest today, Sarah Mangira, who is a foster carer herself. Welcome to the show, sister.
Assalamu alaikum.
So how's everybody this morning?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. You know, I was thinking how precious time is when I was rushing around trying to get here this morning. And, you know, it got me thinking back to the old days, and I was thinking about lazy Sunday afternoons. And I thought, whatever happened to lazy Sunday afternoons? So what I want to know is, what does that mean to you? And I'm going to start with you, Sarah. What does lazy Sunday afternoons mean to you?
To be able to have a really good lie-in and just being able to relax for the day.
Absolutely,
yeah.
I hear that. And so how often does that get to happen? Not very often, I'm guessing.
No.
Alhamdulillah. What about you, Sister?
Yeah, I think the same thing, having a lie-in and also maybe having breakfast made for me.
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Lovely.
Yes.
And Hassana, what about you?
You know what, so Sunday afternoons for me at the moment means Arabic homework, so it's not really much relaxing, but I think for me it's, you know, winter months, you know, curl up with a nice book and a hot chocolate. That sounds about right for me.
Oh,
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, alhamdulillah. How about you, sis?
You know, for me, it's like life is just so busy, and it's funny how, you know, the simple things are really the most precious. And for me, it's just a day at home with the family, you know, a family dinner where we're all actually sitting around the table and eating dinner at the same time rather than, you know, like ships that pass in the night and rushing past one another. So for me, that's what a lazy Sunday afternoon should be. So inshallah we'll get more of that.
Inshallah.
Well, without further ado, let's get to our first segment of the show. It's News Bites. In this segment, we cover the news stories and headlines which have caught our attention this morning. We've got a few stories to get through today, and the first one, MPs feel the heat after claiming energy bills on expenses. Ayan, can you tell us a bit more about this?
Yes, this one is one to get people sort of, you know,
riled up.
Yeah, it's just, you know, and this is saying that MPs are facing criticism for claiming like £200,000 in taxpayers' money to cover their energy bills for their second homes. And then I thought to myself, well, you know, the everyday person works really, really hard, and you've got the issue of the energy costs rising, and a lot of people won't be able to afford to put heating on, you know, as and when they need to, especially the elderly. And then you have these MPs who've got second homes who are spending this much amount of money from our own taxes to heat up second homes, not even the ones that they're in, but second homes. And I just thought, you know, the sort of contradiction between what they're trying to tell us, and the reality of the situation that people live in, and then the things that they're doing. Yeah. And then here it says that, in this article, it says that the MPs have not broken any parliamentary rules, you know, and
like, even when the whole expenses thing came out, I think many years ago, we were having this discussion about how we need to review the whole expenses procedure and how we need to kind of have more of an understanding as to what MPs can claim expenses for and what they can't. But here we are, you know,
still seeing
years
these
down
things
the line,
coming
and we're
up.
still seeing this.
And it kind of flies in the face of the "we're all in it together" message, doesn't it?
But they already get a salary, which is a substantial amount. Can't they pay their energy, their own bills through that? You know, why do they have to use the taxpayer money to do it?
Absolutely true. Well, moving on to another story today. A young Muslim mother forced off the road 3 times by pickup driver who mocked her headscarf by wrapping a shirt around his head.
Yeah, this one's from the Mail Online, and it's actually about this sister, Rose Garcia Corrigan, and it's the story's about the sister in Florida. And basically, she was driving with her children on her way home from a doctor's appointment, and she was trying to overtake this vehicle, and he wouldn't he didn't want to let her overtake. And when she did eventually overtake, he kind of followed her for a few miles, then proceeded to take his shirt to wrap it around his head, swore at her, and made head gestures in a very, very aggressive way. And according to the sister, she feels that it was an attack against her religion. And so she's kind of made a complaint to the police, but the police don't feel it's a hate crime, and they've basically dropped the charges against him. So she's gone ahead to file a complaint with the state attorney. Now he claims, the other driver, he claims that he wasn't doing anything wrong, and he was just basically upset by the fact that she wanted to overtake him, and there was no kind of, Islamophobic element to it. But it does raise a question to me, she's driving with her children. Why would she drive recklessly to start off with? And it just it leaves me feeling that if people are going to go to the police with their complaints and their worries, and it's going to be dismissed like this, it kind of does make me wonder whether people will still carry on going, because
absolutely,
there's an element of intimidation here, isn't there?
Exactly, you want to feel that it's being taken seriously. Otherwise, as you rightly said, people are going to stop going to the police with these kind of things.
I don't think how you can get any more obvious than wrapping a shirt around your head. How is that supposed to be showing how annoyed you are? That clearly indicates, an Islamophobic sort of attack here. I mean, if he were really annoyed, he would have just said, "What do you think you're doing? Why are you taking, overtaking or something like that?" But to do that, it's just.
And I think any woman, or any mother, any Muslim woman, or any woman at all would think, why should you be intimidated like this? It's not, it's not right. If it was if she was with a man, I'm sure it wouldn't have happened. So,
absolutely,
absolutely disgusting. Well, moving on to our next story, hospital wrongly diagnosed miscarriage. Ayan, this is quite a shocking story, isn't it?
Yeah, this is an article based on the experience of Emily Wheatley, where she was told that she had been through a silent miscarriage because she didn't feel any different when she went for a scan at the University Hospital of Wales. Now, this wasn't true, because she found out when she went for a uterine evacuation just to stave off any infection, when they were about to do that, they found that she was still pregnant, and that's when they told her. And the thing is that she's a woman who suffered many miscarriages before, and to be told that you've suffered another miscarriage wrongfully, I think it's unnecessary grief. And here that they've said that that there is an investigation going into it, and that it was a flawed practice employed since 2006. And if they knew this, why was it still happening? And they even said that that they failed to implement the guidelines issued by the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. They have strict guidelines to follow. Why are they not following these guidelines? Why?
Absolutely. I mean, it must have been absolutely devastating for the poor woman. Sarah, what's your thoughts on this?
I just think if you're going into hospital and, you expect the professionals to know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
And to give you the right kind of information, and then to be told something which is obviously very devastating to the mother or to the lady, and then to find out, well, it's not really true. I mean, the heartache she must have gone through, and then to know that, well, actually, no, sorry, we made a mistake. That's not acceptable. These kind of mistakes cannot be made.
No, it's true, and I think you made a really good point. We're going there to the professionals. Yeah. You're in a vulnerable state, when you're in hospital anyway, and you are expecting these kind of mistakes not to happen.
Yes, of course.
I think, for this poor woman, the amount of emotional trauma she must have gone through, it's just beyond kind of even thinking about. I don't know how she kind of dealt with that situation, being told such devastating news like that, and then finding out, actually, hang on, this isn't true. And, all the emotions that must be involved with that as well. I just can't imagine what she must have gone through.
Yeah, and it's not actually that uncommon. I actually know somebody that this has happened to as well. So,
But the thing is that you get, almost every day, you get an article talking about some sort of, mistake that's happened within the NHS, and you think, I get to think to myself, why is it that you get so many mistakes? Why is the NHS failing? And then you tend to think back to, the cuts that are happening, the people who are losing their jobs, the fact that people are probably not even getting any satisfaction from the work that they're doing because they're not given the right equipment, the right tools.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, a lot of doctors and nurses, the professionals that work in there, are overworked, seriously overworked, and and they are just humans. I mean, they're going to make a mistake. People need.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very, very upsetting story there. Moving on to the next headline now. Diwali is to India now what Christmas is to the West, a festival of spend. This is quite an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. This one's from the Mail Online, and it's really interesting. Obviously, you know, Diwali's just passed.
Yeah.
We've got Christmas coming up, and the story is about how, you know, it starts once upon a time there was Diwali, and it's about the fact that this festival, which is, of course, a Hindu festival, has now become so kind of commercialized, and it's all about, you know, spending money.
Yeah.
And there was one particular line I found in the article that I think just sums it up, and it's buy until you die. And that's basically the message that's going out to people during this festival, is that, you know, buy a new sofa for Diwali, or buy a new air conditioning units, things that have absolutely nothing to do with the festival. And they're just being pushed into buying and buying and buying. And it seems that for a lot of Indians, they feel like the festival has actually lost its meaning, and they're just being told to buy things, and that's become the sole purpose of Diwali. And it kind of rings true a little bit for some of the festivals that we see here. You know, Christmas has become very, very commercialized, and some people don't even know what the kind of meaning behind Christmas is, or what the story is behind it. And it's just become a case where you rush out, you buy lots of presents, you spend lots of money, and then you spend the rest of the year like trying to pay back what you spent during one month.
That's absolutely true, and I think the worry as well for us as a community is that Eid would go the same way. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that there's any danger of that happening?
There's always that danger, I think, because when you live in a capitalist society where everything is about buying and selling and all this materialistic values, there is always that sort of element there. But I think it's because of the fact that we do live in a Western country, I don't think Eid would get to that point.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that's the case anyway.
I feel a lot of Muslims are very traditionalist, and what they tend to do is that, you know, how we as children were always given money. And I've done that the same with my children, that I always give them money for Eid. And I'm hoping that that is what we're going to carry on doing. You know, that's just nice that you give them what you can afford to give them. And, you know, it's something that they can do what they want with it.
It's true. And I think the thing is, you're kind of torn between wanting to make it a big deal for them and wanting to make it, you know, a happy time of celebration, which is what we should be doing, and also at the same time not letting it become too commercial and too removed from the religious significance. So, inshallah, it won't.
Inshallah.
Final headline of today, a man's perspective on why engagement rings are a joke. Now, we all had a real laugh at this upstairs, didn't we?
Yeah, this is a brilliant one from the Guardian, written by a man. He did say, you know, don't take me for a cheapskate, but he was basically talking about the marketing ploy behind diamonds and the diamond ring, you know, where the engagement ring sort of came from. And he went into the history of it and saying that, you know, after the diamond mines were discovered in South Africa in 1870, this company called De Beers thought, well, how can we sell it? Because there's no intrinsic value for diamonds in society. So then then this motto came here, a diamond is forever. And that's how it all started, these diamond engagement rings. And then, you know, creating this sort of notion that, you know, it's a token of love and it's a token of commitment, that to give this diamond ring, you know, it's you showing how much you love this person and are wanting to be committed to them. And he was just saying, well, why does it have to be a diamond ring? Because at the end of the day, it's a useless rock. You know, really, and apart from the fact that it's overpriced and it has no real meaning, you know, towards love or anything like that. Doesn't love mean, you know, buying a house or investing in something together, or, you know, putting it down for something important that you need, rather than spending 2 months' wages on a diamond ring that's not really going to do anything for you at the end of the day. And I thought, you know, it's a really good point.
I think he's absolutely right. But I think for a lot of people, engagement rings do hold a lot of symbolic value. You know, for them, it's kind of this is a representation of the fact that I'm due to be married, or even for a wedding ring, I think, you know, it's a kind of a symbol of the fact that you're married. But I think he's absolutely right, you know, kind of putting that money into an investment and saying, you know, actually here's a keys to a house that I've put in your name, as we were saying earlier on. I think, you know, that those kind of symbols are just as valid.
No, you're absolutely right, sis, but what a successful marketing campaign that was.
Absolutely.
Well, Jazakallah Khair, sisters. Before we move to our first break, we have a poll for our sisters watching. This week, we've asked you, do Muslim mothers have a role to play in their understanding of the value of women? Interesting question. To vote, all you have to do is go onto our website, www.islamchannel.tv/programmes, and cast your vote. We will reveal the results on Thursday, so make sure you vote and let your friends and family know about it too. Stay tuned, as after the break we'll be discussing fostering in Islam. See you in 3. Assalamu alaikum.